because I need it on my computer, I'll just edit this bit out because I put it in DaVinci, and then I cut the first bit where we're blabbering, and then yeah, that's it. And then I just upload it because I gave up with editing that
I
stuff.
would laugh if you just uploaded this bit now after saying you're going to edit it. I always like those little backstage moments where people just leave it in when they said they're going to get rid of it. It's just like, ah!
That
Anyway,
could go one of two ways. Either he didn't do what he said, that's poor integrity, he should have edited it, or oh look, it's behind the scenes, that's really clever, he should have. But they have to actually
I
listen to
always
this.
like them. I think they're fun. I always liked bloopers and things like that. Like when you think about the live, I think the live bottom shows where they used to put each other off on stage on purpose
Yeah.
to mess each other up. I love that. That was the thing I liked more about the live shows than I did about the TV series, because they put each other off on stage and there's just that live dynamic. It's great.
I think it's the human interaction part rather. That's what I actually enjoy about a lot of the videos I watch on YouTube. This is not the topic we're talking about, by the way, today. This is just
No,
this is us talking. It's one of the things I like about some of the YouTube videos that I watch is I don't watch what I would class as produced videos much anymore. I used to watch the 10-15 minute highly produced videos, but they were, you'll find out with the video that comes out next week on the Educational Science channel, the integrity of those creators is very low. So I really don't like it because they spend more time on telling a story than they do on actually like researching and learning about the story. So the human element of, I don't really know what's going on here, or this is what I found out, but there's a thing over here, or this just happened, or I was editing this, but now that this thing has happened, this is now wrong. Like that doesn't happen in the highly produced edits. Yeah. And when you actually look at the highly produced edits, they just dump on screen loads of random article titles, which if you actually look at the article titles, half the time don't actually relate to what they're saying about in the video. So it's not a source. It's just, here's some article title that has a word in that I've just said, which you can
tick box. I think
it's stock footage, and AI can generate that shit for you as well.
I know. That's kind of I'm kind of almost excited now because I've been reading a few like posts on the internet, which are still posts on the internet, but like because now anyone can generate these highly structured, highly automated content. Even if they record their own voice over it and all of that, and they still have that human element, if it's still highly polished, what's the difference then? Like,
yeah, so someone video? Exactly, and this is one of the points I'm getting to in my video essay video is that's a mouthful. Video essay video in my video essay is integrity of creators. For me, is the same as integrity behind media, because I think creators on YouTube are all media. When you look at Johnny Harris as the case study I use in the video, he is one guy in charge of a team of people that creates content on YouTube. And when you look at the research, he doesn't actually do his research. He actually doesn't do some of the writing as well, or most of the writing from what I've seen. He doesn't do the edit. He doesn't do the animation. He doesn't do the music, but he does the talking head.
Yeah.
So he's literally a face. And I'm okay, fine. You're a face and everyone else is, and obviously he has oversight on other stuff that goes on. He doesn't just spout anything. But when you look at the numbers, you look at the research, you look at the writing, if AI can do that, which it can do a lot of it, how do you then show integrity in the media that you're creating? How do we as people know that it wasn't just AI dumping a load of stuff into a Word doc and then you just reading it out and then getting AI to do the edit? How do we know that that wasn't done?
Because at the moment, obviously, it's very clear that it was AI written.
If you're familiar with how AI works,
yeah, if
and
you're familiar with how
other
AI
videos
work, or you kind of notice something. I feel most people can notice that something is wrong. They don't know it's AI, but they have this like sense that the video doesn't quite feel right.
So I'm going to disagree, and the only reason I'm going to disagree is because of the BBC video, the one that they did about AI.
All right.
They did a video where they got kids in school, so kids that are watching technology, Yeah, we're talking like 12, 13-year-olds. They watched fake videos, 100% AI generated them, and it's complete rubbish. Like one of the videos says lightning comes out of a pyramid, which for those unfamiliar, lightning is not generated and doesn't come out the top of a pyramid. And other videos that were made by like science educators on YouTube. And the kids couldn't tell the difference. They couldn't tell that one was AI, one wasn't AI. And one of them said, "Oh, I didn't know lightning came out of pyramids, but that would explain why the Egyptians were so good at the time that they were in power." And I'm sitting there like, no. The boy was told afterwards, no, this is fake. This wasn't real. But he genuinely thought it was real. And that's a stage situation. And then a teacher afterwards said, "Yeah, we don't really challenge things, do we?" Mate, you're a freaking teacher. You're meant to be the one challenging them if they think lightning comes out the top of a pyramid. But if we don't have media integrity and children aren't taught how to check for integrity behind the content that's online, either in school or by parents or by other creators online saying, hey, do they have this thing? Whether it's YouTube saying, check this, or are these right? Or is this accurate? Unless that happens, there is no way to look at it. There's no way to fact check or prove it,
and it's going to get harder because of AI. Like,
oh yeah,
there'll be more AI stuff reaffirming AI stuff.
Yeah, and unless the platforms themselves, the creators themselves, and the consumers do something about it, more misdish fake information is going to be spread, and education is going to become even harder in schools. It's already difficult with YouTube because you can have a child that goes to a lesson, they don't like the teacher, they go home, they learn something off of whoever YouTuber they watch, and then they go back to the lesson and go, you're wrong. And that could be math, could be science, but it could also be politics and sociology. And as soon as you bring in interpretations in there, TikTok, YouTube, there's going to be political sides, and whoever that person, that student is watching, that's their political view. And I don't like politics inside of education because politics it requires nuance and expertise in the topics being spoken about for the political views to really be shared. But because a lot of politicians are vague, because they need to be vague, it's so blurry. And teachers can't manage all of that inside of a lesson. Parents don't know what's going on because they have jobs, they have lives to manage. So yeah, creators, please, integrity. Anyway, this is not the massive side tangent for start of episode. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because creator integrity, and we're talking about templates, just for those unfamiliar.
Oh, yeah, no, this is very, yes.
But
oh, look at that. See, no, none of this was planned. We know what we're doing. We are professionals. Sign in the bottom right-hand corner, edited in, we are not professionals.
This was not generated by AI, but could have been.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it goes into ChatGPT. How do I make a transition from this thing to this thing? The thing is, what I don't understand, we're going in AI, because I've been using AI a lot recently to kind of just help me get off of the blank page, which I feel, as I'm going forward, is the only thing it kind of is helpful for. It's a starting point, which you then rip apart and go, no, this is nonsense. That is nonsense. I like that better.
Yes and no. Yes, it helps you going. I don't think it helps with the blank start. I think because I personally don't think there is a blank start. Ecological dynamics, we are consistent.
Oh, no, yeah, that's true. I mean the actual thing of like, there is a blank page, I don't know where to begin. That kind of thing.
That to me, I don't think is terminology I would use. I don't think is quite accurate because you know where to begin because you're putting a prompt into ChatGPT. You're not putting ChatGPT, fill in a blank page for me. You're saying, can you write me something about this thing in this topic? So I think it's moving an idea forwards.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That is more accurate to what that makes sense. Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of refining terminology used, because I see AI as a way to add constraints, or it's not show affordances, because the affordances are already there, but attune your attention to affordances you may not be focused on at that time. So it's kind of like a narrowing of the view, to use a
and then it just it and that really is very accurate to what I've been using it for. It just gives me a, because at the moment I'm doing massive world building my whole entire D&D world, which is huge and takes a long time. Whilst also running multiple campaigns in that world, so what they do influences what happens in the world. And so having like this narrowing of focus every so often of like, okay, cool, let's look at this now. What does that mean? How could I look? What would this look like? Let's brainstorm some ideas. Sweet. I'm going to take that, pull that apart. Don't like that. Why don't we put that in there? Oh, yeah, let's put that in there. And it's like, yes, I like that. I said, I don't care whether you like it. I do. And then it just continues from there. So it is very much just honing
narrowing in on the views. The writing that I've been doing recently is very similar. I use the AI. I'm going to say the AI because I use different AIs depending on what it is that I'm doing. Most of the time it's Bing, though, to narrow in on.
Me now. People like knowing these things. I really like the output of Claude AI. I prefer it to ChatGPT. Sometimes ChatGPT does better in certain things, but they keep putting too many barriers in, and it's starting to get annoying now.
Starting to get turn into a corporate application.
Yeah, and I could tell. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just go and ask.
See, that's why I'm in Bing. Bing gives me like no limitations at all. I mean, yes, it has limitations, but I'm not restricted by, like, I don't have to pay for anything. I can pay to increase like the efficiency of it, but that's the same as every application. So, but so I'm using the AI to sort of move or refine sentences that I'm using, like finding different words for things, prose, etc., but it's very small. I'm not sure what to do here. Let's just add something, or come up with a name for something, or what's the translation of this to that, those sorts of things. Now, sort of directing back to our template discussion, the integrity of creators and relating it to templates is that I moved away from Notion and the Notion template space. And about 3 or 4 months after I moved away from Notion and I adopted the Obsidian world, Notion templates became a cesspool of thieves. Thieves is the only word I can use. They take what someone's created as a Notion space, and then they sell it off as their own because they added a different banner, or they changed the words of pages. Like the functional fundamental elements of the template was created by someone else, and all that work was done by someone else, and then you just go and rip it off, which I understand, because as a creator myself, like a creator of workflows in an app, I can look at someone else's product and go, oh, that's easy. I'll just do this, this, and this, because I have the expertise to rebuild it. And then you can sell it on. So it's an easy cash grab. Ethically, that's so wrong, in my opinion.
I think the thing, because I've got templates that still exist, but do I promote them? No. Do they sell? No. So don't promote them, don't talk about them. And I think for me, it just feels wrong to sell templates, especially Notion ones, like in particular Notion ones, because Notion is it is a balance between structure and no structure. There is limitations and constraints there. You're constraining it further, and to constrain it further, you have to make a heck of a lot of assumptions. And so it kind of takes away what I feel was beneficial of Notion, which is you can build what you need. You have that flexibility. You have the affordances of Notion to be able to create what you want to create. But then when you have a Notion template, you are adding constraints on, making a bunch of assumptions, which means it's not really any different to any other app.
Yeah, just buying a subscription to a Trello or a whatever, Asana, Monday.com sort of thing.
And it's very much like, And that was one of the things that I changed in my business shortly afterwards, was to go from like giving templates, and it's so much easier to sell a template.
Oh yeah.
I know. Well, we both know.
Yeah, we both know.
We both know how easy it is to sell a template. We both have done it. It is quick. People want that. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Exactly, that's what they want. They want just solve my problem for me with this thing. They'd rather throw money at the problem than time and mental energy, if you want to use those terms, because that's what they're familiar with. They would much rather spend money than spend energy on solving the problem, but money doesn't solve the problem. And that is where I think the Obsidian space and the Notion space are drastically different when it comes to templates.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just can't imagine to be able to use Obsidian effectively. You have to think about
It's not that. I think it's the Obsidian community. When you look at the Obsidian community, they're not averse to money, but they don't like money. Like, they don't like people selling something that you could recreate easily. They don't like people selling courses on Obsidian when you could just learn it on YouTube. It's not frowned upon, but it's not as accepted as in the Notion space.
Which it wasn't at first with Notion. I think it's kind of the life cycle of the product. Notion suddenly blew up out of nowhere because it looks pretty.
But when you look at the Notion products are courses about Notion, like August Bradley, Marie Paulin, like they're courses about Notion. Nick Milo's course was about linking your thinking. Yes, Obsidian was there, but people went on the course originally because of the thinking behind it, the linking of ideas. It wasn't Obsidian. There aren't really Obsidian courses. My product is an Obsidian course, but there's Morgan in it, there's Zotero in it, and there's processes of writing and research.
Yeah.
So it's not an Obsidian only course. And when you think about the Obsidian courses out there, they're not big. Like, I know Nicole had a course. I don't know whether she updates it or not, but she's fairly quiet on YouTube now. I assume work life got in the way, or she prioritized something else. But I haven't seen much on the Obsidian course side from her from the initial launch. Then the other 6 or 7 courses, like Santi obviously went to Tana, so he doesn't update his course. A couple of the others moved to, one moved to AnyType, another one moved to Heptabase, so they don't update their courses. One's moved to Scrintles, so it doesn't update their course. 2 of the others stopped maintaining their course because they weren't getting as much traffic as they were expecting. So the Obsidian courses, because I don't think people in the Obsidian community lean courses first, they're just like, I'll just go to YouTube and learn it. The template space is drastically different. There's no marketplace for templates, unlike Notion.
But then you've got, I haven't looked at it yet, but then you've now got Ideasverse, this new thing from Nick Milo, which appears to be Obsidian.
Yes.
Like, just I'm once again I'm looking at it as we speak, so I could be incorrect, but it appears to just be Obsidian. Or is it kind of like your thing that you made, a guide that's just lives in Obsidian?
It's not a guide. From my understanding and from previous versions, so it was the LYT kit, which was this is where Obsidian terminology is going to come in. It was a Vault folder. That's what the LYT kit was. The Ideaverse was essentially version like 3 or 4 of the LYT kit, I believe.
Okay.
Was his Vault folder, but the difference is the Ideaverse is his setup. It's his Vault folder packaged as a product, whereas the LYT kit was more of an instruction, a help guide to how Obsidian works. It's the light way of thinking. Ideaverse is, from my understanding, his setup and how he uses Obsidian. So his hotkeys, his plugins, his workspaces, etc., etc.
So it's basically a template.
Yes, it's an Obsidian template when we're talking about a Vault template, which is the types of templates that I share in my videos all the time for free. It's a Vault template that has all of his settings and stuff, which I understand, and I have those. They are inside of my academy. But where I get confused is if a plugin updates, the Vault template will be out of date. So what I do is I have a plugin in the Vault downloads to help remind people to update their plugins, because Obsidian obviously updates much faster than Notion does, because community plugins are updated every other week. So the template becomes out of date rather quickly. And if something does change in his use case, this is something I'd be interested to know from his perspective. If something does change, i.e., he finds another plugin, or he changes his hotkey, or he moves something around, or he changes a callout block inside of a file, does he update the template straight away?
No. And also, I've just been looking on the website. This is interesting. I have thoughts. He gives access to all lessons and updates for 12 months. And I'm like, no. Like, that to me, like, I would never, even if I was new to, the thing is, if I was new to Obsidian, I wouldn't have this information. But like, as someone who knows Obsidian, that is no, I couldn't in good conscience offer that myself, to put it bluntly, because of how quickly productivity evolves and how you work evolves. So basically, you get 12 months access and then you don't get it again. And then you lose, basically, like it's access to all lessons and updates for 12 months.
He
and then
lessons,
I assume
though,
you have to buy it again. But it's the updates. I would be.
See, as soon as you bring in lessons, it starts making me think about what Thomas Frank does with his, what's it called? Extended Brain? Was it Extended Brain? Ultimate Brain? Notion course template thing?
I don't remember.
Yeah, whatever he's called it. That's what it makes me think of, with lessons next to or with the template. And that is essentially what my academy is. My academy is, this is how I use the app, the product, and when there are updates, updated videos come out explaining different changes, whether it's a table or whether it's a canvas or a dashboard or an integration, which there is a plugin that's come out recently in the Obsidian world that allows you to put a task into an ICS, an iCal file, and the iCal file could be mapped to a CalDAV, which then could link with Morgan. That sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to it, but I will update the academy when that happens. 12 months seems, it sounds long, but in the lifespan of Obsidian and the way that it evolves, like that's, yeah, I would want to, yeah, I would want a bit more as well for me on that. But when it comes,
I want to, because what I'm hearing, what I'm reading from this is it's a template. How the confidence that your templates are helpful in the moment and in the future, collections from books to movies, your personal movie database, AI prompts to think better. I have a real big problem with that. We'll leave that one alone. No. How would you like a clean, done for you Idealverse without all my notes getting in the way? All Idealverse Pro purchases also get a stripped down version of what we call Idealverse Zero. It has all the structure and functionality of Pro without all my notes. I appreciate that. That's kind of cool.
What's cool about it?
It's a blank one. It's literally his structure without nothing in it.
Yeah.
Rather than giving him everything. I mean, it's sad.
But it's not a blank structure, though. That's the thing.
No, it's not.
It's a template. Because what he's done is the exact same thing as that I did, like, 2 years ago. Like Brian Jenks started doing it as soon as he made videos on YouTube. So it's nothing new. Everyone's done it.
It's not new, but
no, but it's not a blank slate. because there is settings in there. And this is one of the videos I'm going to do either next week or the week after, is how the settings and stuff is actually saved in Obsidian, because you can just take settings from one vault and put them in another. It's not difficult. It's a copy and paste of a file. As soon as you understand the folder system and the file system inside of Obsidian's backend, you can just copy and paste settings. You can change plugins. You can drastically change the way Obsidian functions and works by copy and pasting stuff. You really don't need to spend $200 or however much the template is, or the course is. Yeah.
It's going to be 250 from, well, I suppose it's supposed to be 250 from today, but he's not increased the price yet.
But yeah, you really don't need to spend that money to do it. You could just watch a couple of 10-minute videos on YouTube, figure out how it works, and then go on your own. Because unless this is my personal view on templates, unless you're going to get support on working with the templates, I don't think the money's worth it. Which is why I haven't bought templates, which is why I didn't like selling the templates in Notion unless I gave them help, which is what I did. Anyone that bought a template off me, I gave them help for free, on top of the template course, via email if they struggled with anything. And now I do it all in Discord. If someone has a question about my template, they come into Discord, I help them, I answer them, and we troubleshoot. Unless he's doing that inside of Circle, which I think is his paid community, if I'm not mistaken, I don't see the benefit of the template, which is where I would question, I don't think he's selling a template. Well, if he's just selling the template, I don't like it. But I don't think he's just selling the template because he's got lessons attached to that, you said.
Yeah, comprehensive course, recordings and documentation, access to the idea verse zero starter vault, access to all lessons and updates for 12 months. I just find that.
So I think the lessons and updates makes me think it's more of a course to take you through how to use the template and how Obsidian works. So it's kind of like an Obsidian course attached to a template sort of thing, which is very much like Thomas Frank's Ultimate Brain. And essentially the same as My Academy, except it sounds like the lessons are in the Obsidian Vault, which, again, is fine. I mean, I would imagine he's going to update the Vault download, because if he doesn't update the Vault download, then the updates that happen in Obsidian, like the Insider build 1.5.1, obviously that's going to change things with the table. So if you have an old version, you're going to have to update the installer and update Obsidian when you get the download. So to me, that's a pain as a creator's, from a creator side with the templates, which is why I don't sell templates. It's why I give them for free, and people want to download the older version, go for it. And I give them the ability to update it. But that's why I share so many templates, because updated versions come out all of the time. So yes, the lesson makes sense, man. This is where the whole template conversation comes in. Are you selling a template, or are you selling lessons of a template, or are you selling help to use the tool? In which case it's coaching, coursing sort of stuff.
And how can you do that at scale?
How can you do what at scale? Help the
coaching course element of that.
I think that's what he and me, to be fair, are doing. You sell the template with the instructional information for those that want to get just give me the answers. But then you also give the opportunity and the flexibility of the course information, the community stuff. So I understand what he's doing, because obviously he's doing the same thing as me. What I don't quite understand is why he's packaging it as a template. Maybe it's marketing.
Would make sense, because people buy templates, not
courses.
They're more likely to buy templates than they are a community.
Yeah.
I just find the 12-month thing, either way, just that doesn't align with my values of you get it for 12 months and then you have to either buy it again or you have to renew.
I think as a creator and as a business person, I understand where he's coming from, because I think it's difficult to get subscription type things inside of this media, inside the creator world. Subscriptions are difficult, and I think potentially that's an attempt to get a subscription, like a year-long type subscription to his services. rather than a one-time fee. My academy is also around that same price. It's like 199, but it's like full time. Like when you bought it once, that's it. You're good to go.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, especially because if we approach it from an ecological approach in terms of like, as things change, your needs change. And as your needs change, you need additional support. Like you need, how do I customize this for this? This is a situation, this is an environment that I'm now in, which is very different from when I bought it 11 months ago. So I'm going to have to rebuild. Okay, cool. I've got a month to do that before I lose access to the resources that he's taught me in that. And I find that difficult. I understand it from a business perspective. Absolutely. 100%. I also understand it from like, it feels like it's trying to be a hybrid. Whereas for me and my business, I would just want it to be simple. And I would say, look, here is the tools that I have for you. Here are some resources, kind of what you've done, where you have templates and you have stuff like that. Go play. Then come to me for help.
I was going to say, I think that's where the difference is there. That's where our ethical differences are. We are coaches first. We are coaches.
Yes.
We want to help. Whereas I would argue that Thomas and Nick are more business first. That's not a bad thing.
Nope.
It's not a good thing. It's just a difference.
It's a thing.
Yeah. And because they are business first, they look at the money. So they want to help. Like when I look at, because I'm using Thomas and Nick because obviously Thomas is Notion and Nick is Obsidian. Both of them have similar projects to myself, but I focus on the coaching and the helping. So I put out one video a week that helps with an issue. Is it everyone's issue? No. Do I get thousands, hundreds of thousands of views per video? No. Are they helpful? Yes. And I see my videos, old videos, pop up all the time, all over the Obsidian community. Oh, try this video, minute 5 helps. Try that video, this helps. So I'm helping everyone. Whereas Thomas's stuff and Nick's stuff, it's oh, you can be a premium style user of the tool and join that community. So there is the Obsidian community and the Light community. There is the Notion community and the Thomas Frank Ultimate Brain course. Like they are separate communities. Yeah. Because they are businesses. Whereas I am in the Obsidian community that has a resource if you want it, because I'm coaching. I am coaching in the community. I'm in the Obsidian Discord. I help out here and there, but it's a mess in that Discord server. Then I have my own, and I have my own help. Obviously, I do the live streams as well. So I'm a coach first, business person second, which all business people will be like, yeah, but you're leaving so much money on the table. I don't care. I want to help. Whereas if you're a business first, you need to take it from that lens, which is where I think the template conversation for us, we look at it from a different perspective. We don't look at it as a nice isn't the right word. It's just not it doesn't ethically sit well with me. Like selling templates for that much and having like giving help, giving support, but not outward ongoing support unless you pay for it. And paid coaching, I'm not a fan of. Like I'll refine that. I don't mind paid coaching. But if you're not coaching because they're not paying, that's what I'm not a fan of. And I don't see Nick coaching outside of his paid community, which to me, this could be controversial, but as a sports coach, that's elitist. That's a professional coach coaching a professional sports team because they're being paid. And then because they're not being paid, they're not going to coach. That to me is unethical. Most sports coaches don't do that. When you look at most big sports coaches, look at Mourinho as a perfect example. For those unfamiliar with football, he is arguably the best manager in the world. Manchester City is his club, is his team. He coaches the main team, but he also coaches the academy team and coaches lower academy teams in Man City and helps out with community football. So he helps at all stages, some of it unpaid, a lot of it unpaid support to other coaches and other managers. So he coaches outside of his job, which makes him actually better at his job. I don't see Nick or Thomas doing that. Maybe it's I'm not looking in the right place, but I don't see them helping outside of their business coaching, which to me suggests it's premium coaching, which as a premium coach, business coach, I get why they do that.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like it. Ethically, I don't like it.
Yeah. It's a tough one and it's a fine line. I think with like my business direction and like what I say business direction, I have a skeleton of a business now because of life and other things and other priorities and other things I need to do. And so for me, I'm in this position now and like, okay, cool. I have capacity and attention to bring to my business now. And so where I'm going is like, okay, cool. What do I want to do now? And I look at the business world and the coaching business world. Oy. Oy. There are no words other than oh.
I think this is where the conversations about like giving value, delivering value before you charge for things is where it comes in, because I do offer paid coaching. I am quite happy to sit on a call with someone if they pay me, and I will help them. Either I will build it for them, or I will point them, like move the mouse left or right or whatever needs to be said to get them to a stage where they can do it themselves. I'm happy to do that, obviously for money, because I can't do that all the time, because like time is limited. But that's not the only thing I do. I also have the, oh yeah, I will just help. And doing both of the things is, to me, what sounds morally suitable. And for you, that's what I would imagine you would do to start with, is like, okay, I'm going to show my value that I can help this problem, this struggle, this community with these issues. And if you want more help from me, then pay. And this is what Seth Godin says.
Yeah, and it's something that, because one of the big struggles I've had, and we've discussed this before, like with content. So I just find the idea of content and mass speaking to people, because there's because it's unconstrained, and there is not the juicy details, the yummy stuff that as a coach I'm like, oh, I noticed this and 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 this. Boom. It's a lot harder. And then you've got all of the expectations of YouTube, podcasts.
Where do you think because the content obviously isn't to everyone, it's to the directed audience. So you could do a coaching session for a person, but because it's a person that's going to have a issue, other people will probably have that issue. And that's how I treat my content. Like if you struggle with this thing in Obsidian, this video may help. If you want ideas of this thing in Obsidian, this video may help. So each of my pieces of content is like a lesson, as it were, for something, for someone. So that to me is content, but directed, like it's a lesson for a person.
Yeah, and it's designed to be for one person. And I think there's so much when it's like, when you look at the YouTube environment, a YouTube creator environment, it doesn't sound like it's aimed in that direction. It's like, grow big. This is how you grow big. This is how you do this. And it sounds like they're almost two different things.
This is where the industry, the creator industry, needs to eventually get clearer on what it means to be a creator, because those inside of the creator world that listen to Colin and Samir and all of those sort of discussions, behind the scenes discussions of the bigger creators, that's where you'll see that there are 3 tiers of creators that are on YouTube. You have the media company creators, such as the Johnny Harris, the Mr. Beast, the people that want the millions of subscribers, loads of views, and all that sort of stuff. You then have what I would class as the solid creators, the ones that are just continuous. They are the 100,000 to 700,000 type channels that just pump out videos after video that get maybe 100K views a video, but they help a specific community. A lot of the tech creators are in there. And then there are the micro creators that boost up all of those others. And when you look at writing, it's the same in publishing. You have the big authors, the ones that have the Game of Thrones, the Lord of the Rings, the Harry Potters, but then you have the other writers that are pumping out like two books a year or 3 books a year, and there's no like massive bestseller book, but they're just consistently pumping out good numbers. And those people are obviously on YouTube. And then you have the other authors that are pumping out loads of books, but they're loads of books that a small niche of audience really like. And there's one of those people inside of the Obsidian world. She's in the creative writing thread in Obsidian. She wrote like 6 books over NaNoWriMo. So she's got a prolific writing history, loads of stories. None of them are like massive stories, but she's a prolific writer, author, and worked as a published author. And as a content creator, a lot of people look at the big people first, understandably. But you can be a small creator too. And the micro creators, myself, I find more value in that because you're helping a smaller community, which is what the micro creators do. And unfortunately, we do get spammed by a load of people with apps. If you're in the software space, oh, review my app. And that's where ethics gets involved, of course.
And I suppose in that, how do you balance that? Because there is that YouTube meta of like, this is how you package a video, this is how you do these things and that thing.
But that's geared towards that creator and that content for those goals. Beastification of YouTube pushes the bigger creators on the platform that want to get the 9 to 13-year-old boy that is ramped up on adrenaline and just wants to watch random shit go on his screen because it doesn't have anything better to do. Like that's the beastification of YouTube. Oh, look, 30 animations happened in 10 seconds. This is great. I really like this. For me, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff, the beastification of YouTube, is for an audience type. And there are going to be 13-year-old boys that hate it as well. And if they do hate it, they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to watch some guy painting a Warhammer icon for an hour and a half. Like those videos get millions of views as well.
Yeah, often from me.
So it's about finding the audience. But unfortunately, the money, the attention is put towards one narrative. It's the red carpet of YouTube. And the red carpet of YouTube obviously gets the views, the attention. Yeah. And unless you're in the creator industry, unless you're in the writing world or the editing, you don't see the rest of the people that are working in the industry. You don't see you see the top 1%, the top 5%, but you don't see the middle 50%.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, because in business, I don't see that. Like, there is no, because I'm in the businessy world and that, not in the, but when you think about it, there's so many, if I look at my own viewing habits, they're not all highly produced. Most of them are well produced, but they're not super cuts. They're kind of longer form content. I actually prefer them.
Yeah, well. It's the 50% of the business. Like you've got the top 10, which they're the ones that are rocketing, flying sky high. That's great. But the middle 50% are where the majority of the full-time people are: full-time publisher, writer, author, creator, video editor, whatever. That 50% are the ones that are doing the work. They're doing the job that they like to do, and they're just pumping things out. It's their job. The other 40%-ish are the ones either getting there to the 50% or are right at the start and are struggling. And a lot of those people that are struggling are forgetting the 50% and are going straight to the 10%.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
So if you are at the beginning, like, what are the tips that you have?
Just do it. Literally, just do it.
That's so much effort.
Yeah. I would put myself in that 50% because I am a full-time creator. I earn enough to live off it. I have like my wage, my yearly wage is more than my mum and more than my dad. So I earn more than them. So I would say I'm in that 50%. But when you look at my channel, I only get 3,000 views a video. I only have 28,000 subscribers, and subscribers means literally nothing on YouTube once you're over 1,000.
Yeah.
But I have a community, I have a business that runs, that works, and is consistent, and I enjoy doing it every day.
Yeah.
There is nothing else I need. Why do I do all the other things? Because I'm interested in the other things. And that to me is what freedom is. That to me is what financial freedom is. So I've spoken with Ali previously about this. I know we have gone sideways off templates, but I have a narrative in mind that I'm going to bring us back later. I spoke with Ali about this when I went out with him for a meal. What was it, 3 months ago now? Oof, time flies. And I was talking with him. I use Ali because people will recognize the name. I was talking with him about being free and knowing what to do next. He's doing the digital nomad thing at the moment, like going to travel around because he was sort of like stuck. And he is, by all accounts, a successful person, a successful creator. He's done the millions worth of profit. He's got the mini team behind me. He's done the interviews with all the big famous people, but he's still striving for stuff. He's still pushing. He's still trying to find his way with various different things. And for me, I found my way 2 years ago. I'm not going, oh, I need to do this. And it's just, I want to write a book. So I'm going to write a book. I want to share some research that I'm doing with Obsidian. So I start a new channel and start sharing research that I'm doing, which is about education and science. Like, I don't need to. I'm not like driven. I've got to do this thing, or I need to get this, otherwise this breaks, or I want to get there before I'm this years old. No. I'm free to do what I want, when I want, how I want in each day. I could wake up tomorrow and do nothing. I am free to do that. I am privileged enough to do that. I'm grateful that I can. And when people say, oh, no, but I need all these views and I need all this money, no, you don't. You look at all the people that talk about like burnout at the top and all the struggles that they have being a big creator. What they struggle with is what you are asking for. You are asking for the struggles, but you don't know how to deal with the struggles, because when people get there, having spoken with James Danny obviously on the video, he got there, he got his fame, he got his attention, and then he burnt out for the next year and didn't post a video because he struggled. And I've worked with him, I speak with him, and he looks to me, he asks me help on some of the things that I'm doing because I've got it sorted. But that doesn't make sense. How does a 2 million subscriber channel with million view videos, loads of editing, big team, how does that person need help from a guy like me? Because I got my shit together.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest frustration with coming back to the template stuff. A lot of the people that look for templates don't have their shit together, and they look to people that are selling stuff, but they are typically the 1/10% that are striving for this goal that doesn't match what the person wants. So this person's going, oh yeah, I'm selling all these templates, I'm doing this business stuff, I'm earning loads of money, I'm doing podcasts with these big creators or these big celebrities, whoever it is. But when you look at what they're doing day to day, it's not the template that the person is looking for, because the person is getting a template from a person that doesn't do what it is that they're doing, because their day to day is different. They're not doing the stuff. They are editing episodes, managing a team, managing how to sell products, managing marketing and sales. That's not this is my movie, this is my library, these are my notes on writing my book, this is my novel, this is I needed to take some notes on this electrical job like that I had in my day, and I needed to remember what parts I need. No, that's not what they're doing. That's not the template they're selling. I know I went on a bit of a rant there, but that's where the community, the 50% people, are far more helpful most of the time in my experience than the templates being sold, which is why I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I did do the, hey, here's how I work, here's my template, I will help you with it. But I stopped promoting that because I recognize that most people aren't writing videos or writing research essays for videos in their day-to-day. That's not what they're doing. Most of the time, they are, I just want to log my books. I just want to log my movies, which is why I did like products for those things. I did templates for those things. I say products, but they're free. Some people were saying, I want to manage my life inside of Obsidian like PPV. So I made a template for PPV. Can it be adjusted and changed? Yes. They want to do NaNoWriMo. So I did a vault for NaNoWriMo. Like that's a specific thing. It's the day-to-day stuff. I've got one coming up with my food tracking, which I should have done months ago because I track my food, like my shopping list, when I'm going to eat, what I'm going to eat. Like, that's also done in Obsidian. It's a day-to-day thing that's not a, oh, look, I built a thing in Obsidian and it's completely pointless. No, I use these things. I've now ranted for the last 10 minutes, so I'm going to let you speak, John.
No, I find it quite interesting because obviously one of the things is I've kind of gone through this massive burnout, loads of life stuff, and now it's time for, I'm just like, okay, cool. This is the reality of my situation. And none of this is ever spoken about. Unless you're in, for example, the neurodiverse space, in this space or that space, and it's the small niche groups that talk about it. But then if you don't really go beyond that, and people are just like, oh, I struggle because I'm neurodiverse, because I'm autistic, because of this label, because of that label, because of this thing. This is Notion templates for neurodiverse people. This is like this for that. And I'm just like, but and it's quite just being able to see beyond the small community into that 50%. And then for me, knowing what I want to do, which is the coaching element, because that's the bit I am best at. That's the bit that I enjoy and get real excitement from.
So I guess this is something that I think about while I'm doing the videos on YouTube is I don't sit down and go, okay, this looks like a really cool video, let's make it. I sit down and go, I think this video could help some people. So I'm going to make a video for those people. Whether YouTube tells me it's a 10 out of 10, I'm really not that fussed. Like the NaNoWriMo video sucked. Like YouTube was saying, oh, this is a really bad video because no one's watching it. I don't care. Well, that's a lie. I do care no one's watching it, but I don't care enough to not make another video like it because the people that have watched it, like someone has even given me money as a YouTube comment for the video. So someone donated, I think it was like $2 or $3 to saying, yes, thank you. No one is writing about long form writing in Obsidian on YouTube, or they couldn't find it anyway. And that is exactly what I want to do. I want to coach those people for that video. So that's how I treat a video. I think about a video and go, okay, a person, fictional person that I'm creating, maybe it's myself, a lot of the time it's myself in a situation, they have this problem. They are struggling with this thing. I want to coach them, so I'm going to make a video and coach them do the thing. Yes, I make a thumbnail obvious enough for people to see it, and I make a title obvious but for YouTube to give it in search, but the views come with the community that I'm supporting. Like, that's it. And I've seen other YouTube creators about Obsidian with far less subscribers than me that have less views, obviously, but it's not for a lack of good content. It's just not many people have found them yet. And it's a yet thing because one of their videos that blows up in the Obsidian community can push their channel, which is what I've seen. Some of the other creators in Obsidian, I personally don't like their content the way they do it because there's too much fluff around it, but it's serving an audience in the Obsidian community. Which, I mean, you are part of the Obsidian community. You could do videos relating to Obsidian about how you manage XYZ thing. Like, that's not something that you would find difficult. You don't even have to have your face there. You could do literally what I'm doing. I'm going to talk about this thing today because I struggle with this thing. Then just show your Obsidian, just screen record with a mouse and just click, 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 click. There you go, done. Done with the video. There's your coaching. Do that a few times. Now you're coaching. Do you want to build a business from that? Well, yeah, now you've got some sort of hooks in the water, as it were.
Yeah.
And you don't have to overthink it, because that is what the job is. That's the job of a coach.
Oh.
Now, moving a little bit sideways in templates. Templates in Obsidian and Notion, yes. Obviously, you've got a template vault. But then you also have a template file. And a template...
Yeah.
And I don't like the miswording that people have. But a template file... What is a template file?
A philosophy, I suppose. If we go very high level, a template file is a philosophy. It's a workflow. It's a thing you do with this thing.
Yes. So when you're in Obsidian, what file isn't a template file?
Oh, yeah.
Every file is a template file.
Yeah.
So when we say template, and we're talking about a file inside of Obsidian, I think this is something I've tried to grapple with in the words that I use in the video. I think I need to be more specific about what I mean by template file, which is why in some of the more recent videos when I've spoken about templates is the file in my template folder. Rather than my template file, because the template folder is used by plugins that do a copy and paste of the file, which is all a template is. It's a file that's been copied and pasted. And the template folder is the folder that's used by the plugins that does the copy and pasting for you.
Yeah.
And when you look at a template vault, it's exactly the same thing. It's just a folder instead of a file. And so when I look at the template folder that people sell, it's a copy and paste. Yeah. Which is why in my video that I'm going to be doing, I think probably next week or for next week. So early access, you'll see it on Monday. If you have not early access, you'll see it on the Friday when it goes out. If you want early access, either Patreon or Academy. But that video will be a, hey, templates are just a copy and paste. That's all they are. Templater is running script. That is different.
Yes.
That is running code script. And I think templater doesn't make that clear enough in its naming and in its marketing. Because it's saying it's just doing what templates does, but a little bit more. But that little bit more is running, a lot more. it's running a lot of possibilities. Because you've got the code in the file.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, those things are different to the Vault templates. And the Vault templates don't have scripts to run. They are just a copy and paste.
Yeah.
So they are just boring copy and paste folders, which means there isn't that much power to them if you have them, because they are copy and paste, which is why templates are abused inside of the Notion community, because they're just copy and paste. If you can, what's Seth Godin's thing? Like if it can be recreated by a bot or by a lazy worker, then it doesn't have much value. Like the free hugs analogy is what comes to mind, where someone is giving out hugs for free and someone's charging for hugs. Well, everyone's going to go for the free one because you get the same product for less amount of money. So yeah. Where is the value? Where is the added value? And unless you're coaching, helping, I don't think there is much added value for me.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, it's good. It's a good episode.
Nice, right. So we're actually going to see some videos from John soon.
Hopefully.
We'll see. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see. Bye.